For a little bit more on this, we're now joined by KwaZulu-Natal's Department of Social Development Deputy Director General Maphili Mhlongo. Thanks so much indeed for joining us and welcome to the program.
Good evening and good evening to your viewers as well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. In that report we've just played, a disturbing trend seems to be playing out quite a bit, and that is settling rape cases using bribes, and I think that's the word that was used. Is this something that's quite prevalent from what you've been able to observe?
Can you please come again? I did not hear that well in relation to the bribes.
I was just saying, from what you've been able to observe, is it quite common to see bribes being paid to settle rape matters?
Thank you very much, Mr. Ndoro. I think I cannot be able to indicate clearly to say one has observed that, but it is information that is out there in the community, because you will find that in some instances, there are scores, that are being paid by the families, whereby they will be able to pay bribes, something like goats, to some families where children have been raped or abused. It is a matter of concern for us as a Department of Social Development, because this is perpetrating gender-based violence. And apparently the main area where we have witnessed that there are such instances, it's where you find that there are cultural processes that are being done that talk to issues like Uktwala, which are still, issues that perpetrate gender-based violence.
All right, you've mentioned a couple of things there, but let me deal with the first one. Do you think that things like poverty contribute to people looking for gifts and money and some kind of compensation rather than seeking justice?
In most cases, Mr. Ndoro, where these things happen, you will find that this thing is done by somebody that is known in the community and probably is feared, by that particular family. Yes, it might be poverty, but in most instances, it's just fear. And then you find that the family will then agree that they are going to be, taking that bribe. But this is a matter that I think government, particularly the Department of Social Development, working with other stakeholders, is dealing with closely, because we work within a coordinated, manner within within government in order to ensure that we are able to provide a coordinated response. So some of these issues that we are talking about are issues, that have come forth, particularly with SABC, and they are being, attended to.
What have you been able to do to assist children and young teens who perhaps would love to get justice, but decisions are being made on their behalf by their families?
As a Department of Social Development, we've got quite a number of programs that we are implementing in the community. I think the main one that I want to talk about is the issue around ensuring that we are able to create awareness. We also have programs that are targeting youth as well as children, in order to ensure that we empower them to be able to ensure that when such cases take place, they can be able to report. We've got social behavior change program that we are implementing within communities, where we are targeting the children from 9 years to 14 years, and we've got a program that we call CHOMI. And this is a program where we are indicating that children need to be able to ensure that they are able to fight, for themselves, and they are able to get, they are able to have that power to be able to take back, the power that is taken by older persons to them. Remember, in most cases, when these things are perpetrated, they are not done by, young people, but they are done by older persons, that violate the rights of children. We also have another program which targets children up to the age of 25, which is called YOLO, you live once, where we are also empowering children to be able to ensure that they are able to ensure that their rights are not violated. So these are the programs that we are implementing, not with as a Department of Social Development alone, as I indicated earlier on, but we are, providing this within the 6 pillars of the strategic plan for GBV as well as femicide, in order to ensure that we empower communities. We also have quite a number of other programs to be able to deal with issues now when we have those people that are now victims, of gender-based violence and femicide.
Another difficult area, I would imagine, is we know that often these abuses happen within families. A relative often is the perpetrator, and so maybe that there's a family shame that they're trying to cover up, that they prevent the case being reported. How does one deal with these kinds of dynamics?
I must indicate that the kind of awareness that we have, managed to ensure that is there within the communities through the programs that we have created have really empowered quite a lot of communities. One would remember that probably during the period, as in this period, because we are still within the period of 16 days of activism, where you find that more cases will come out, not because probably there is much of violence that is, taking place during this time, but more so because of the awareness that has been created there, and people know that they need to be able to report these instances. And one is really very much concerned by the fact that in spite of that, but we still continue to see that, the incidents of violence still continue within communities.
I guess also the remoter the areas, the harder it is to get these messages across and to protect the most vulnerable there. So as you go rural and deeper into remote areas, it must be an increasing challenge to reach these areas.
You are quite right, Mr. Ndoro. I must just indicate that, like yesterday, we targeted Gamalakhe because Gamalakhe is one of those areas that is in the remote areas. But we targeted Ward 28, which is within a township, because this is where most of the people are, and this is where you find that violation of the rights of women is taking place. As you indicated earlier on and had in terms of the information that was shared yesterday, that these Uku districts, particularly Reinkonyeni, has also been targeted as one of the areas where we've got quite a number of social ills, not only in relation to gender-based violence and femicide. So we are trying to ensure that even in the far rural areas, we are able to ensure that communities are empowered and they are also involved, because the program of Reclaiming the Night is involving communities, as it was indicated that it was not only the government department, but it was churches, it was the community members, and they were all there talking in one voice that the streets, in all the townships, in all the villages, will have to be reclaimed back, so that women and young girls do not find themselves in a situation that they fear, walking around because of the fact that they are going to be killed, they are going to be bullied, and so on. So that is the kind of awareness that we are raising in areas that are remote. We also hold dialogues, because as much as we are talking about 16 days, but we are, holding these campaigns throughout the year. It's 365 days a year. So we've got dialogues that takes place in different areas, in the remote area, in the remote places, where as a Department of Social Development, as well as the stakeholders that we work with, we ensure that there are awareness campaigns that will be able to ensure that our communities are empowered and they are able to be each other's keepers. In fact, even in terms of ensuring that if there is any incident in any family, they can be able to come in and be able to assist. And over and above that, we also have white door centers in most of the communities, whereby we ensure that even if there is an incident of gender-based violence, you know, there is a place that particular a young woman or that particular woman can be able to run to, and the communities can be able to take care of her.
Maphili, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much indeed for joining us, and we wish you strength in dealing with these very, very important issues. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. We really need it.
Thank you. All right, that's KwaZulu-Natal's Department of Social Development Deputy Director General Maphili Mhlongo speaking to us about some concerning developments, particularly when it comes to dealing with rape cases. And it looks as if some families are taking bribes in the form of cash and livestock to deal with rape cases and not taking them to the authorities where the perpetrators are properly prosecuted.